Good evening, everybody. This is Audie. I am doing the show for Kristopher H. Bilbrey. He is missing in action somewhere. Chris is being Chris. He was watching TV the other day on the news where the senator had told everybody in the United States that we have aliens in the country. And Chris being Chris, he did a records request to find these aliens and all this stuff. And I don't know what happened. The CIA or the FBI or somebody come by and took Chris away. So I got the last communications I got from Chris was he had said something about their technology where he's at is so much better than the technology we have here. So that we're about 2,000 years behind on our technology compared to theirs. So I don't know what he meant by that. So he said something about an ice wall on the edge of the earth and being on the other side of the ice wall, and that he would be gone for a few days, that he'd get back with me. And who knows, maybe they took him up and are doing some probes on him or something. Who knows? He may like that. So anyhow, we're going to try to have a good show tonight. I'm going to be your special guest host tonight. I'm Audie Barber. I'm running for city council at large in the city of Muncie. Most of you know me. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me any questions that you want. Put it up on the chat over here, and I'll try to answer your questions to the best of my ability. I just want everybody to know I'll try to be as honest as I can be. And when I say as I can be, I will be as honest as what I feel it is. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, friends about us. If you're still on Facebook, I can't see any of that. So flip on over to the YouTube channel and get signed up on the YouTube channel. You don't have to sign up to be a member of YouTube. Just go on there as a guest and come on in. But be sure you hit that like button down there. That way, when Kristopher gets back, if he ever comes back, we'll see how many likes we got during my shows and his shows and whatever. He's going to be gone for a few days. I'm going to fill in tonight. I'm going to fill in Monday night and maybe Tuesday night if he ain't back by then. And we'll go from there. But I'll cover the city council meeting Monday night after the city council meeting's over with. We had yes, Kate.
Niles said that he got a message from Chris just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, he said that anal probes aren't that bad. They're actually quite enjoyable.
Wow. They're hitting that prostate just right then, so we'll be all right. Kate, you might go ahead and throw that disclaimer up there about kids and stuff, because I can see it's going to turn out to be a great show. Hey, guys, if you, while she's putting that up there, if you got your cigarettes, grab your cigarettes. If that's not your preferred smoking material. Get your preferred smoking material or your gummies or whatever you need. Get your alcohol, sit back and enjoy the show, because we're going to be talking about the city of Muncie tonight. We're going to talk about some issues that have come up in the last few weeks. We're going to be talking about the comparisons between the Muncie chief of police and the gentleman that's the sheriff down there in that Henry County area, that New Tucky, they call it New Tucky or something like that, or James Castle or something like that. I don't know where, that county, South Lower County. So we'll be talking about some of that stuff tonight. And Kate, you said I'd be able to see the chats from people, but I can't see. The only thing I can see is the stuff that you have putting across the unions. How about the honestly feel about the police and fire unions not back?
It said you're coming in as a guest, so we weren't sure exactly how it was going to work.
Okay, that's fine.
Watch the pop up, but I will try to post as many comments as possible for you. Yeah,
Alva, we will be talking about the unions. The fire department, the guy that's president of the union, he's his last name's Chafin, like my balls are chafing or something like that. So it's a one-man unit. I do get a lot of support from the firefighters themselves. A lot of the firefighters themselves love me, and I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with Chafin not backing me, between him and his little sidekick. That's fine. But they will have to deal with me for the next 4 years, because I will get elected. I'm working pretty hard to get elected. So yeah, we'll deal with that here in a little bit. Yeah, we'll be talking a lot about Muncie's mentally challenged issues with the police chief. Talk about naked lady painted on the side of Thomas Park. Really? I haven't seen that yet. Talk about the naked lady painted on this. I'll have to go down and check that out tomorrow. Did the Parks Department say anything to you, Kid Rock? Did they say they would get it taken care of, cleaned off, or anything? This is the first I'm hearing of it. So tomorrow's Sunday. That's the thing. A lot of folks know that I'm a heavy equipment operator. I do road work and stuff. For the last 2 weeks, I've been on I-74 at night. We've been working the night shift. I didn't want a lot of people knowing that. My wife doesn't want people to know when I'm not at home. So unions are a thing of the past. No, Stumblefoot News, they're not. Unions are not a thing of the past. It's just the Republicans have kept trying to break the unions. Just like the county did. We'll get into that here in a few minutes, because I'll give my feeling on what's going to happen to the Muncie police and the Muncie fire unions if Dan Ridenour is reelected. Chris, fall down a donut hole. Last I knew, Jack, he was Jeff. Yeah, that barber shine's pretty cool. It's donut hole is pretty cool too. So, but we won't go there. Last I knew that somebody had taken Chris to the ice wall over at the edge of the earth and was going to throw him over, because the earth isn't round, it's flat. Or is it? So they sent someone on Thursday. My kids went back last night. I'll go check it out tomorrow. I'll check it out to the side of the panties. I'll check it out. Yeah, we'll do a road trip tomorrow. I'll check it out tomorrow. I think, like I said, everybody, we'll do some Chris's. We'll do some of Chris's stuff here. This is the Bastards of Politics channel. I'm Audie Barber, your host tonight. Everybody hit that like button, so on and so forth. I don't know what all he goes through. So there you go. There you go. Bastards of Politics. Bilbrey live Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday evening, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday evening. Thursday nights is the Bastards of Politics. Friday night, we're off. And then we start again. Check out the Guns of the Week whenever Niles has one. And Civic Duty. Can't forget old Josh in there. He does pretty good shows when he has them. So, and then, Brandon, he's going to be your host tomorrow night, I believe. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we'll get an alien in there. You can never tell, but make sure you hit that like and subscribe. So, okay, let's get into this. I was working midnights on I-74 between Shelbyville and Indianapolis the other night, and I had some time about 3 o'clock. If you open YouTube. Yeah, Joe, that probably worked, but I don't want to screw it too much because I don't want to interrupt the show and screw shit up like that. So we'll just leave it like this. And Kate's putting up down here in the banner what I need to see and so on and so forth. So we'll figure it out. No big deal. But anyhow, the other night I was working on I-74. It must have been when you work midnights and you're not used to it, your days get mixed up. So it must have been Thursday night into Friday morning. Yeah, Thursday night. Wednesday night into Thursday morning. No, it was Thursday night into Friday morning. Anyhow, one of those days. Oh, and if you got cigarettes, like I said, smoke them if you got them, because I'm going to be smoking. So about 3 o'clock, I turned my police scanner on for the city of Muncie. Well, it's not the police scanner for the city of Muncie. It's an application that I have on my phone, and it's called 50 Police Scanner. It's also on YouTube under Citizen's Ear or something like that. And you can actually listen. It's about a 3-minute delay, and you can actually listen to the city police, state police, county police, fire, EMS, and all that stuff. But it's all jumbled up. So you got to really pay attention to what's what, because you may hear the state police talking, and then the next person you hear, it may be the city police talking or EMS or something like that. But anyhow, I'm sitting there and I hear ISP say they're in a low pursuit chase. Started on the south side of Muncie, over on South Madison somewhere, and they were chasing a car and low speeds, 20, 25 mile an hour, down Madison Street. They come down Madison Street, and I believe the initial part of it was the license plate had been reported stolen, and they were chasing behind this car that had that stolen license plate. Either that or the car had been stolen. Not 100% sure. I'm thinking it was the license plate, but anyhow, the state trooper was trying to stop him. So they come down Madison Street to 12th Street, and all of a sudden you hear the county chime or the city chime in saying, "Do not get in the pursuit. You're not allowed to be in the pursuit. You are not allowed to be a police officer and help this state trooper out." They didn't quite say that, but you're not allowed to be in the pursuit. Do not get involved with the pursuit. So the state trooper takes them out all the way out Memorial Drive. When I say Memorial Drive, Memorial Drive is the same thing as 12th Street. So they go all the way out Memorial Drive, out past the bypass, out past AMA. They go out to 400 East and 12th Street, Memorial Drive, whatever. And there's a T there. So and all this time they're not going 20, 25 mile an hour. So they go out to 400 East, they turn left, which is back to the north. They take it all the way out, and they're not going very fast. So they, and the supervisor on the city police kept saying, "Do not get involved. You're not to be involved in this police chase." So they get to Indiana 32, they turn back west, going back towards Muncie. And the state trooper kept hollering out the speeds. State Road 32 is a 55 mile an hour speed limit. They never reach speeds above 50 mile an hour. So they come back in town. They come back up 32, past Delawanda, past they cross the new bridge there on Jackson Street and come back, and they're on Main Street. And the state trooper asks, his dispatcher, he says, call the city police, city Muncie police, and see if they have stop sticks, if they'll put stop sticks down for us. Well, it took about 10 minutes, and the city police, the dispatcher comes back on and says, well, the city police says they don't have stop sticks on this shift. So we don't have the proper police equipment to stop a police chase anyhow, and use stop sticks to help anybody out. And the supervisor on that shift keeps saying, do not get involved with this police chase. We'll block the roads to keep him from going off the side roads, but we're not going to get involved with this. Remember, the state trooper just went out in the county and may have been all by himself. And if that car would have crashed or pulled over and decided to start shooting at this state trooper, he may not have had no backup because the city of Muncie didn't get involved. But anyhow, and they went outside of the city's jurisdiction, so I don't know if this guy had backup or not. So they come through town, they come up, they go down Kilgore, he turns on Batavia and goes back up, turns down Tillotson, however he gets there, but he goes across the MLK Bridge, and he decides to go to the new Delaware County Jail. He pulls up in front of it, and, all along, the supervisor on the police department, city police department, keeps saying, do not get involved, do not get involved. So at this time, Yorktown police decided to come in and help the state trooper out and was putting out stop sticks, different locations and stuff. So the Yorktown police was helping the state police out in the city limits. So they turn, go out. Next thing you know, the guy pulls in at the Delaware County Jail, the new Delaware County Jail that used to be the Wilson Middle School. Pulls up, gets out of his car, they arrest him, take him to jail. Come to find out, he drove himself to the jail. He was a meth dealer, and he had stolen plates on a car, or had a stolen car, or whatever it was. I'm not for sure exactly. But the moral of the story is, the city police would not assist this Indiana state trooper in a police chase. So I wanted to get some more information on this. So I went to City Hall at 8 o'clock on Friday morning. And lo and behold, Chief Sloan comes up and says, Mr. Barber, what can I help you with? And I asked him for a copy of his SOPs for police chases. I asked him to explain to me why he wouldn't get involved, or why his officers cannot get involved in a police pursuit anymore. And he says the liability, Jack, it's not the police. It's the administration in charge. I will say I 100% back the police officers in the city of Muncie. 100% back them. Anything I can do to help them, I will do it. The problem is the administration tying these folks' hands. Now, I had talked to him, and he told me, come back at noon, we'll get you your SOPs. I didn't have to do the paperwork. I went up there, and I thought, okay, maybe he will, maybe he won't. So I stayed up all day and went in at noon, and lo and behold, he had my paperwork for me. And Kate's got a copy she's going to put up on there here in just a second about the vehicle pursuit, and there it is. And if you look right down here in the date, implemented June 2020. This was 6 months after the right now administration took over and appointed the new police chief. It's right there, June 2020. So this is his policy on police chases. And if anybody wants a copy of this, I can send it to them. Over here on this 5th page, it talks about when and where they'll get in pursuits. Pursuits may initiate when the officer has probable cause to believe one of the following: the occupant have committed a serious, violent, or forcible felony. Now, if this was a police chase that the car was stolen or the license plate was stolen, I believe it was still, and since there was a police chase involved, it's still considered a felony police chase because it's going to turn into a felony stop once the person stops, because they don't know what the situation is because they've been chasing him. or the driver has or is committing acts of reckless driving prior to the officer's contact, which poses a threat to the public. The act of flight standalone does not justify a pursuit initiation. And then it goes on to say pursuits will not initiate under the following conditions. But you got to remember, it was clear. The state trooper kept saying no traffic 20 miles an hour, no traffic 30 miles an hour, 27 miles an hour, so on and so forth. So I put in records requests. I'm going to get a copy of the state police dispatch tape, and I'm put in a copy for the city of Muncie dispatch tape, and we'll have that in a few weeks. You know how them records requests are. They want to wait till the last minute. So with that being said, since Dan Ridenauer took over as mayor, let me get my notes here. I did get some notes because I wanted to be this to be a lengthy show, but not a 2-hour free-for-all. So here's the problem. The police chief now will not allow his police officers to be police officers. The morale in the police department right now is way low. These guys, they don't have radar detectors in their cars. So if you're speeding through Muncie, you won't be pulled over and written a ticket. So that gives everybody the opportunity to go fast, break the law. And we're all guilty of going too fast in certain areas. Me too. I've done it many times, and I need to slow down. But you're not going to get a ticket for it because they don't have radar detectors in the police cars. They don't have stop sticks. They're not allowed to use the stop sticks. It's covered in the SOPs. Only the supervisors are allowed to use stop sticks. And they don't have none on the shift. So they don't even own stop sticks in the city of Muncie. So right there, it's given people the opportunity that if they're breaking the law, they can speed through Muncie. And if a cop gets behind them, as long as they take off and go 70 miles an hour downtown, they're not going to be chased by the police. They've got to give up the pursuit unless it's unless you just robbed a bank or murdered somebody. They're not going to chase you for any reason. They're not going to do their job. Too much liability. The morale of the police department's down. The cops aren't allowed to do anything. They're just not allowed to do anything. They can go out on calls. Well, Alva, that's what I'm going to get into. The raises, if the police are doing their jobs, the patrolmen, they're doing their jobs the best that they're allowed to do. They're not allowed to be police officers. The night of the mass shooting, I think there was 4 permits issued in the area of Willard and Hackley, several blocks this way or that way. Yes, Brandon, all departments helped out on this, and I'm going to get through that here in a minute. During the shooting, they called all these police officers, all these departments in. All call went out to anybody available in the police force to come help. So ISP come in and help. Delaware County sheriffs. You had all the town marshals and off-duty Muncie police officers were called in. They come, put their uniforms on, and came and helped out. The thing about it is, when the city of Muncie Police Department needs help, they expect all these people to come in and help them. But when the Indiana, let me redo that. I think I said that wrong. When the Muncie police need help, they expect all these police officers to come in and help. But when ISP is requesting help from the city of Muncie in a pursuit, then the city of Muncie don't want to help pursue and get involved with the pursuit, then that's a problem. We're going to ask you to come help us, but we're not going to give you help in return. And it's the same thing with the county police. If the county police were in a pursuit and they come in the city of Muncie, Muncie Police Department would not get involved with the pursuit. And that's a problem. That's given too much conflict between fellow police officers of different departments. And I think that's about the same thing going on in Henry County with Sheriff Sproles. He is trying to get the conflict going to where these small town marshals won't get help from him, and they won't give help to him because of the conflict. Michael, we're going to get into that right now. I'm glad you said that. Our police department is understaffed. What a lot of people don't know. Okay, Michael, here's what we're going to do. In 2020, after this administration took over, the president of the FOP, Federal Order of Police for the city of Muncie, was Chris Deegan. Okay. In 2020, they renegotiated a contract. Now follow me here. They renegotiated the union contract where they asked to have 6 spots, 6 police officers removed off the list. Now, they didn't fire these police officers. These were empty spots. Okay? We got 6 empty spots here. We just don't want to fill those because we want to raise. This was in 2020. Deegan was president of the union. They said, we have enough staff that we can get by without these other 6 police officers. So instead of hiring 6 new police officers, they did away with them 6 spots. Oh, shit. It's stupid stuff. Remind me later. Okay, there we go. They did away with these 6 spots to get a raise for the rest of the police officers. And Deegan told the administration that they could get by without these 6 police officers. So they did away with these 6 spots and give exactly, Joey, exactly. So they did away with these 6 spots and give everybody a raise. Now, since then, they've got a new president of the union, and Deegan has become the assistant to the assistant chief. So how's that work? So he's the assistant to the assistant chief. So he's like 3rd in command. Now, when he goes to these meetings, the city council meetings, Michael, I'm not arguing a bit with you on that. We got 65,000 people. We got supposed to have 110 police officers. There's too many people sitting in the offices. There's too many assistants to the assistant chiefs. And when these people should be out on the road doing their job, they're not doing it. They don't need to be out there doing their job because the police chief now has pulled all the power back and said, we don't need to do all that stuff. Makes Muncie look like a mockery. It makes Muncie look horrible, horrible. You get on the internet. Angela Gannot put on there from Fox 59 the other day. This police department not giving us no information. They don't give no information. They're not transparent. They don't tell what's going on. They don't let people know what's happening. This was with the shooting and stuff. So anyhow, and you can read that on Angela Gannot's webpage on Facebook, how awful the communications is between the police department and the media. So be it. But back to Chris Deegan, every time you turn around, Chris is going up saying at the Board of Works and the city council meetings, we're understaffed. We need more police officers. Need to get some of them police officers out of the administration's office and quit having an assistant to the assistant chief, put his ass back out there on the road, and allow the police officers to be police officers. He is the one that negotiated the contract. Well, it's common knowledge, Stumblefoot. You talk to anybody, you can get away with anything in the city of Muncie.
They just did that press conference and talked about how they didn't have enough cops out on the street the other night.
But yet, in 2020, they gave up 6 positions to get a raise. So,
everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody knows. It's common knowledge.
The city administration and the police administration both said it out loud in a press conference.
And Stumblefoot, just remember, I'm just a citizen at this time. I'm running for a political office. I don't have any of the backroom deals or anything like that, any knowledge of all that stuff. So this is just my take on things. But like I said, the morale. So Mayor Dan, let's see. Well, kind of, sorta. Dan's supposed to be a Republican, but they're doing less police work now than they've ever done. And I'm for the police department. I back our police officers 100%. Let's see, it has gotten awful. It has. It has. Yeah. I've had issues. My ex-neighbor, she used to deal dope. I could not get nothing done with that. Finally got her landlord to get her to move. We don't have hard ass. We're not allowed, Marshall, we're not allowed to have hard ass cops. We're not allowed to have hard ass cops. Bilbrey. James, Bilbrey. This is Barber. Bilbrey's gone. Well, James, they just got a new 1-year contract. We'll go there now. They just got a new 1-year contract. 1 year with the union. They got a 10% raise. The police department, and 100%, they needed at least a 10% raise. I agree 100%. Our cops are underpaid. If they can go to another town and be paid $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 more, they're going to do it. And I understand that. So our cops are underpaid. So they need that 10% raise. But here's the thing about the 10% raise. It's a 1-year contract. Michael, they do need to be a hard ass, but they do not need to break the law. They do not need to break a man's jaw. They do not need police brutality, so on and so forth. I agree with a hard ass cop, but I'm not going to agree with police brutality. My brother's been a police officer for a lot of years. I got a nephew that's a police officer. I back them 100%. The police officer are doing a great job to follow the Constitution. That's right, Michael. They need to follow the Constitution. As long as they follow the Constitution and the laws of the city of Muncie and the state of Indiana, I'll back them 100%. They start beating the hell out of somebody that's handcuffed, get rid of that son of a bitch. We don't need cops like that. One cop like that gives the whole police force a bad name. And I'm glad they've weeded through most of those people. So we've got a good bunch of young police officers out there that's doing a fantastic job when they're allowed to. And I know they've been trained to do it, and they've went through the academy and all that. They're police officers. Give them the power to be police officers. Don't cut their wings like this administration is doing. This police chief is more worried about being sued or pissing somebody off than to allowing the police to do their jobs. Just like I said in the Board of Works meeting, let's go back to the union. I bounce around a lot, and I'm sorry. I'm just got a lot trying to fill Bilbrey's shoes. He may never see this because, like I said, he's over on the other side of the ice wall over in where the aliens are or whatever. So he may not come back. I don't know, but I'm sure he will be. But he'll forget everything that happened. He'll say, "Oh, nothing happened." I don't know. I don't know about all that. That's if they bought his police badge, and here's one of the statements he made to me the other day on Friday morning when I talked to him. He said, "Barber," he says, "leave it to the professionals." Got to thinking, where have I heard that before? Leave it to the professionals. I think that's what I said about the roads being paved. So he was trying to be a smart ass, and I'll give him kudos for that. I like that. I can handle that. I got broad shoulders. But be a man. Reach down, grab your balls, and let your police officers be police officers. Make sure your balls are still there, Sloan. Allow your police officers to be police officers. That's why the city has insurance. Whether you use it or not, liability. We have liability insurance. Taxpayers pay for that. Allow your police officers to do their damn jobs. We've got a great bunch of police officers out there that will do their jobs if you allow them to. So at the Board of Works meeting last week, and a lot of people didn't realize I was on midnights. That's the reason I got to make the Board of Works meeting. I talked about that I'd contacted Linda back in April or May about the shooting that happened down there in April or May. And they continued to issue noise ordinance permits to allow it to be noisy down there. And I don't have a problem with people partying. Don't have a problem with that. But if it gets out of control, we got to put a stop to it. So we had a shooting down there in, I think it was April or May. I think the guy bought the place in April and started partying shortly after that. I told Linda, and she point taken, point well made, whatever she said, because she didn't want to be made to look like an ass because she'd done been told about it. So in March, it took them, they had a big party down there of about 150 people. And once again, Muncie Police called in ISP, Delaware County Sheriff's Department, to go down there and break this party up because it was like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And they were getting a lot of complaints about it. Took them 2 hours to get everything going and to go in and move this party out. Once again, you're calling in for help. You're calling in for Delaware County Sheriff's Department to help. You're calling in for Indiana State Police to help. But you do not return the favor when those people call, when ISP or Delaware County Sheriff's Department calls in and says, hey, we need help with the pursuit. Do not tell me you're low on police officers, for one, decide to give up 6 positions to get a raise, and then go back to all these meetings and say, oh, we don't have enough police officers, but you give 6 up back 3 years ago. 3 years ago, you gave up 6 positions as for the police officers. So now you're crying that you don't have enough officers. So I call Linda and say, Linda, look, they've had this shooting down here. You guys need to look into this. Linda never did look into it. And then comes July. It's hot outside. People want to get out of their houses. Most people on the weekends go to parties or do their thing, hang out with their friends, whatever. So they had a shooting down there. I was told that at midnight, the police department went down there to break this party up. And they couldn't get the people to leave. They couldn't get a response because they didn't have enough police officers to break this party up. So within a couple hours, hour and a half, hour, 15 minutes later, whatever time the shooting happened, and then everybody just dispersed, went to the hospitals, whatever. And I want to thank ISP, and I want to thank Delaware County Sheriff's Department. I want to thank all the town marshals and all their units that come in to help out with that situation, because that was a very ugly situation that got way out of hand, and we needed all the help we could get in there at that time. I believe in protecting all police officers. Straight up, protect the police officers. They are out there. They know what their job is. They know that when they leave their house at night, in the morning, they may not return home to their loved ones because it's that high risk of a job. I don't know if we have a SWAT team right now. I don't know if I know the division that has been going on for years with the Muncie Police Department, and I know I think it started under McShirley's, and I know it's running rampant right now I believe it's running rampant right now that the police city police don't want to work with the county and vice versa, whatever. I don't know. I don't know if they're coordinated enough to where they even have a drug task force or even a SWAT team. I think the county has a SWAT team, but I know at one time they were integrated and they all work together, but I don't think it's like that right now. So, but we need to get back to that. We need to get back to where the police departments can work together. It's a brotherhood. They need to work together. Now, I just remembered that I was talking about the unions. Got a 1-year contract with the Muncie Fire Department, and we got a 1-year contract with the city police. After this 1-year contract's up, they'll have to go back and renegotiate. And I believe I'm crooked. Oh well, shit. Let's try this again. So anyhow, the unions are a good thing. They protect their people. They get the raises for them, so on and so forth. Now, if you notice the 1-year contract, that is in case if Dan gets reelected. Today is August 5th, Saturday, August 5th, 2023. Saturday, August 5th, 2023. Yes, 1-year contract for the Muncie Police Department, Muncie Fire Department. If Dan wins re-election, in 1 year, you will see the city police and the Muncie Fire Department union try to be disbanded. Dan will do, I believe that Dan will find a way to do away with the fire department union and the police department union. And the reason I say that, we've got paramedics working on the Muncie Fire Department right now that are non-union, working with the firemen. And a few years ago, that was an issue with Delaware County EMS, and they gave up their union and all that. But we've got non-union working with union already. And this has all been under Dan's administration since the fire-based EMS came in. And for some reason, the president of the Muncie Fire Department is okay with this. Chafing balls, chafing my ass, whatever he calls himself, is allowing this to go on. That is the first sign of weakness, and that's going to allow them to come in and break that union. So are we honestly trying to tell me that after... I don't know, Alva, if it'll take the raise away, but I'm telling you, it's only a 1-year deal. Usually when there's only a 1-year deal, the man running for re-election that agreed to it, that gives him 1 year to change his mind if he gets reelected. So a lot of that'll go away. Could possibly go away if Dan gets reelected. 1-year contracts aren't good. It only gives them 1 year. You give them a 10% raise. Gives them what they want during the election year, but the following year, if he reaps the benefits of the spoils, then Dan gets to renegotiate the contract for another 3 or 4 years, and then they'll get a 3 or 4 year contract, and then they'll either get some of it taken back, or they'll do it with the unions, something. But you will see, and here's what happened with the county. The county got 3 Republican commissioners. Guess what happened? The highway workers, they broke the union. It wasn't the workers, it was the commissioners. Commissioners also said that they were not going to recognize Delaware County Sheriff's Department's union. Guess what? They don't recognize Delaware County Sheriff's Department union. Those people are public servants also. They are police officers. But the commissioners are Republicans against the unions, and that's what happens. They broke the union. They're not recognizing them. They don't care They say they don't care about their union. They don't even recognize it. So there you go. And that's what's going to happen with Reitenour. He's going to do the same thing. We all know Republicans bust the unions. They're union busters. We know that. Now, Monday night, if anybody's available that are union and want to support union, CanPAC has got something going on there at 6 p.m. I'll be there for a few minutes. Can't stay long because I got a council meeting to go to, and so on and so forth. So if you guys want to back the unions and believe that CanPAC needs their union, so be it. Most of CanPAC throughout the world is unionized. I think this is the only non-union shop they have. They're working these guys 12 hours a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week. Paying about, most jobs in there are compatible with wages, but some of them are like $5 an hour below what. That's correct, Jackie. I think they do. I think they do need to approve those. So I don't know if the mayor went around them or not on that. A lot of times the mayor likes to.
When the mayor announced it, he had that little thing where he announced that they had come to an agreement between the fire and the police.
Yes.
He did say at that time that the city council was still going to need to approve it. Nothing like pinning them in a box by making a grand announcement that the police were getting this fantastic raise and then saying, oh, but it's up to the council.
But it's up to the council. But there again, that's the political hack of Dan Reitenour saying, oh, it's going to be up to the council now to decide whether they want to give them the raise. And I think the council will. I think most of the council members believe that those police officers and firefighters do need a raise. You know, we're training these young kids to be police officers, and then after, you know, a year or two after they've got their training in, they move on and make better money somewhere else. They'll go down to Westfield or Marion County or wherever they go and make a better salary. And I understand that. They're going to go where their wallet tells them to go. And, you know, that's the reason I'm union. That's the reason I vote Democrat, because I vote for my wallet. Money, that's what I vote for, is the money. Probably not, James. I don't know exactly when the terms. I've put in for a request for the contract 2020 and the contract that just was signed. So it may take for effect. I don't know if it takes effect January 1st or if it takes effect October or December 1st. I don't know exactly when the terms of it are, but we know it's all out there. We know it's a 1-year contract, and we know what the mayor's doing with it. He's just using it as a political ploy to show people and say, hey, look, just like his ads are showing, hey, look, I've got maximum staff on the police department. Well, he's got some people retiring, so before you know it, they're going to be down another 2 or 3 or 4 police officers because they got people retiring. I don't know exactly how many of them, but I was told the other day by one detective that they were retiring August 16th. So, you know, I'm not going to give any names out, but I was told by, so there's another position that's going to be open. Dan wants to glorify that he's brought all these new police officers in, but the police officers that he brought in have been police officers that he's had to replace because these other police officers have moved on to other departments because they're getting paid better. And I agree 100%. They need to vote yes on this contract, give them their 10% raise, bring them up to where we can keep them. You know, I think before this contract, I think the average contract was $50,000 a year for a police officer. And, you know, that's really no money in this day and age. And give them their 10% raise, give them their $5,000 raise, $6,000 raise, whatever it takes. If that'll keep the people that we're paying to train here in the city to be city police officers, that's what we need to do. We need to retain these police officers. Maybe we need to get into a part of the contract with the unions that if we pay X amount of dollars to train these people, if they stay for 5 or 10 years, you know, they don't have to pay it back, but prorate it to where if we spend $50,000 for their training, and they decide to leave after a year, they got to pay $40,000 back. Something like that, incentive to keep them here. But if they do decide to leave, they have to pay for the reimbursement. But what I've been told that other police departments that they find out if they have to have a buyout, that they'll pay for this buyout, write the city of Muncie a check, and buy them out, and away they go. So the city ends up retaining their money back, and then these police officers get to go somewhere else. And that's the way it works in most cases. So it's neither here nor there, but that's the way life works. People's going to go where their wallets tell them to go. And if they can make more money over here in 2 counties away and they want to drive that far, so be it. Mayor pushing for housing business to increase tax base. Well, Chris, the tax base, if they give them tax abatements, it takes, if they give them a 5-year tax abatement, they may prorate it and do like, they have to pay 10%, 20%, 30%, so on and so forth. A lot of times it takes a couple years anyhow to get a new business on the tax roll, depending on when they start building the building, when they complete it. So it could take up to a year to almost 2 years to get it on the tax roll anyhow. As far as apartment buildings and stuff like that, a lot of those get the long-term tax abatement. So after they're built for 15 years and the tax abatement goes away, they'll turn around and sell it that way. Usually these companies that build these apartment buildings never have to pay nothing in taxes to the city of Muncie, because they'll sell them before they have to pay taxes. And then the next person, you get your tax abatement, you get money for building the place, so they're paying to build it. And then you get these little things called a credit. Let's see what they called their points. Oh shit, I'm drawing a blank right now. But anyhow, what'll happen is they'll come in and they'll build these apartment buildings, get all these tax abatements, and have so many credits that they'll end up selling these credits to a firm in New York City that has to have so much green space, so on and so forth, in their portfolio. And I've talked about that before, about 3 or 4 years ago, and that's what happened down here at the old Chevy place. They built these apartment buildings, and when they sold their credits back to this big business in New York, that paid for the building of the building of the apartments. And the people that built the apartments then turn around and collect the rent for 10 or 15 years with all these tax abatements on it. And then when that's all up, they'll sell the apartments. Somebody else will start the whole process all over again. And if you notice these small houses that they're building, and they're not really that small. People say, oh, those are small houses. But I think they're close to 1,600 square feet. That's a lot of square footage for a house. I think mine's roughly between, I think mine's about 950 on my main level. And then I got a full basement that's not finished. But still, yeah, that's quite a bit of space for a single family. 1,600 square feet, that's a pretty good sized building. That's a lot of square footage for living space. So if them buildings are roughly 24 by 60, what is that? 24 by 60? 20 by 60 is, let's see what it is here. Where's my calculator? 24 by 60. Well, they don't. Let's take 24 by 30. 24 by 30. If they're 24 foot wide and 30 foot long, they say, oh, that ain't very big. That's 720 square feet. Then you add a second layer on top of it, the second floor, that's 1,420 square feet. So if those buildings are 24 by 40, 24 by 35, that's 840 square feet times 2. That's 1,680 square feet. That's a pretty good sized house. So And if you don't think it is, just take the outside dimensions of your house. Say it's 24 by 30. Multiply it. Then you add the second level. There you go. That's how you get your square footage on a house. And then they're going to collect rental fees for 15 years and then turn around and sell them, so on and so forth. But anyhow, I guess my biggest complaint tonight is the chief of police of the city of Muncie is not allowing his police officers to be police officers. Let's put the police back in the uniform. Put the police officer back in the uniform so they can do their jobs. We'll worry about liability later. That's why we have insurance. That's why they have litigators. Let them people do their job. Let the police officers do their job. Let the morale come back up. The morale of the Muncie Police Department, police officers right now, it's horrible. It's way down. I've talked to several police officers and it's horrible. It's just way down. Morale's just way down. So we need to get somebody in there to bring the morale back up. Let the police officers be police officers. Let our litigators litigate if it comes to that. Don't need the police to have police brutality. Just let them be the officers they're trained to be. They've already been trained. They are the professionals, Nate Sloan. They are professionals. You have no clue how to run a police department. Clipping their wings, not allowing them to be police officers is not acceptable. That's why we need a new mayor to allow a new police chief. So, with that being said, I have talked to, I stick my finger in my ear. I agree already. Let them do their jobs. When they start doing their jobs, we'll talk about them. That's correct, Alva. I agree. If they're not allowing these guys to do their jobs, all they're doing is driving around. And here's another thing. Had an incident a few months ago where my neighbor was harboring a felon. They're wanting a wanted felon. Not going into too much detail on it. About 2 o'clock one morning, they had about 6 or 8 police officers out here, and they had the house surrounded. And this is right next door to me. And they knew that the wanted felon was in the house. 2 o'clock in the morning, they're on their PA system. Come out with your hands up. We know you're in there. Come out now. And if not, we're going to send the dog in. We're going to come in. We're going to get you. Okay. That was great. I was happy about that because hopefully this will get my neighbor to get their landlord to decide, well, there's been too much going on here recently over there that maybe make her move. So there were 6 or 8 police officers out here, 2 or 3 cop cars, 5 cop cars, whatever. They had the whole road blocked off. And they was out there about 30 minutes. They'd checked the garage. They was getting ready, and they got permission from the girl that rented the house to go in and check the house for this felon. Then all of a sudden, come across a police scanner. Shots fired at on Walnut Street, across the street from Muncie Central. Next thing you know, they've spent 30, 40 minutes over here getting ready to go in this house. They've got it surrounded, K9 units, place lit up, so on and so forth. Shots fired comes in. Next thing you know, poof, all the police officers are gone. The moral of that story is, had they had more police officers, they could have apprehended this felon that was in that house, this wanted felon that had 3 or 4 warrants out for his arrest. But instead, they had to all leave and go back each other up at the shots fired. And it turned out to be fireworks. So the moral of the story is, had they had enough police officers on the road that night, it was a Friday or Saturday night, so busy night. It was in May or June, about June, end of May, 1st of June, something like that. So the weather was fairly nice. So people was out mingling and so on and so forth. And had they had enough police officers on duty that night, they could have caught that felon. They could have also had the police officers go over and take care of the shots fired. But they all had to leave here because they didn't know what they had over there. So there again, they were doing their job, but they didn't have enough police officers because Deegan had already gave up 6 positions in 2020 as the president of the union. And then shortly after that, he got his assistant to the assistant chief job, to where he is now a company man, not part of the union anymore. At one time, there was supposed to be 110 police officers total. That's what the contract had in it, but they gave up 6 of them back in 2020, so that dropped it down to 104. And with the people that's on administrative leave, and that's another thing. It's another thing we got to discuss. We've got a Muncie police force of 105, 110 people. And the reason they're low on staffing right now is because they got several police officers that are on administrative leave. We're still paying this one dickhead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud. We're paying this one guy, and we've been paying him for 4 years. I'm sorry.
We got the banner running. Say whatever you want.
We're good. Okay. We're paying this one dickhead to sit at home $50,000, $60,000 a year instead of firing him because he's a corrupt police officer. Innocent until proven guilty. I understand that. But he's been accused of it, and maybe it's time to cut his pay and get somebody in there. And then when he gets through his legal procedures, if he don't go to federal prison like the rest of them did, to give him his job back. But I don't think we need to pay him. Let's free that money up. I was also told that there are some police officers that are on administrative leave that haven't worked for quite a while. All right, Joey, thanks. That there's some police officers that are on administrative leave that are in the process of being fired. Let's get them guys fired if they ain't good cops. If they're not going to do abide by the Constitution, they want to go out, step outside the state laws and stuff like that, fire their asses and replace them. Bring our police force back up to where it needs to be. I'm a heavy equipment operator. If we get a new guy out on the job and he can't do the job, they bring him his check and send him on his way. We get somebody else that can do the job. That's what needs to happen with the Muncie Police Department. If these folks are not available to work and be out on the streets and patrol the streets and they're on administrative leave, cut them loose, fire them, lay them off, quit paying them, and get somebody in there that wants to do the job. No, most cases they don't. I know all unions are different, Jeff. A lot of times you'll hear the stories where, oh, this one here did wrong. Union brought him back. Well, sometimes the unions have to do that. Yes, I agree, Joey. Every now and then they're going to have to defend a bad guy. I understand that. But most of the time, like my union, if we get a bad guy on the job, and Indiana is the right to work state, so you don't have to have a reason to lay somebody off or fire them or get rid of them or tell them the job's done, move on, whatever. In the operators union, if they send an operator out and the supervisor or the foreman or whatever can't use that guy because his abilities aren't good enough, they'll just write him a check, send him on his way, and they'll bring somebody else out to do the job. And that's the way it works. Like I said, it's the right to work. They can let people go for any reason. Now, if you've been sexually harassed or discriminated against or whatever, your union's going to fight for you. And I've seen a union have to fight for people several times, but eventually, in the construction field, these jobs have a start date and they have an end date. And at some point, you know that that job is going to be over with, that you're going to move on to a new job somewhere. So that's a little different than the way they are in the UAW, in the factories and stuff, because those guys know that when they hire in, they have a start date. They know that their end date is going to be the day they retire. And they've got to go into the same place every day for 30 years before they can retire. So that's a little different. You know, you may have a guy that has a bad week and screws up and not normally like that. So the union will fight for him to keep his job because they know he's going through a hard time, and he'll get over it and he'll be a good employee again. So that's the difference, and so on and so forth. That's the difference. Now, is there anything else I need to talk about? Let's see here. Bilbrey is missing in action. Physically, he's okay. Mentally, that's a judgment call. That's that mental issue that we was talking about. And, whether he is mentally okay or not, so be it. But he will be back shortly. I love the graphics he done. I like this little Audie Barber over here, guest host Audie Barber. I like the stuff he's put together. He's done a pretty good job to allow for him to have a couple days off. You got to understand, Chris has been doing this for a lot of years. I like that one too. That one's really great. Where in the world is Carmen? What is it, Carmen San Diego, or where's Waldo? Or now we got where's Bilbrey? But anyhow, Bilbrey is in physical good health for the most part. He's okay. He's not sick. He's not in the hospital or nothing like that I know of. He's on the, I think the aliens may have got him, or somebody was saying something about that ice wall. And I don't understand quite what that ice wall is, but they said they took him over on the other side of the ice wall and let him over there for a while. So hell, who knows where he's at? We just know he's in good shape and he's physically okay, but mentally he's challenged. So we've all got to deal with that, and we've got all these viewers on here that understand how Kristopher H. Bilbrey is. So we love him. He's hardcore when he needs to be. But if you need something from Chris and you're friends with him, he'll go to the edges of the earth to fight for you. Get that? See how I tied that all together? That's a Bilbrey moment. Tie it all together. Let him sleep and eat and bang and whatever else. Yeah. Chris is human, so we think. But he will go to the edges of the earth for you if he's your friend, or if he feels you're right and he don't know you. He'll still fight for you to the edges of the earth. So that's where he's at now. He's over at the edge of the earth somewhere, enjoying the sunshine and the ice, and where it's sunny and 72 and you can throw a snowball. So, Kate, are there any questions on here? Is there anything I need to address? Is there anything I need to clear up to be professional before we cut this show loose?
No, I think that you got most of them as we were going. I was trying to put them up when it seemed like there were kind of breaks in what you were talking about, where they seemed appropriate. So I was going back and pulling them up for you. So I think you about covered everything.
Yeah, I hope I ain't used too much.
The other question that was on here is the city of Muncie still running animal control?
Yes. Yep. As far as I know, the city might still have animal control. Yes, they do. I know a couple weeks ago that there was a, I don't know if I want to go there or not. Well, I'll go there. There was a police shooting a couple weeks ago. There was 2 pit bulls attacking a lady, and a police officer had to go out. And and this was a Muncie police officer, and he went out there, and the lady was laying face down, bleeding really profusely, and the dog started attacking the police officer. And it was a big old pit bull, and grabbed him by the leg and stuff. And this police officer had to put the dog down. Now, as far as and the police officer done the right thing. I don't know, Jack. I know if a dog bites somebody, I think they have to be in quarantine for 10 days if they don't have their rabies shots and all that stuff. But this dog was attacking the police officer with the lady laying there face down in the dirt, bleeding profusely. According to state law, if a dog bites, they're supposed to be taken and detained. Exactly, Michael, they are. But this officer shot this dog, and most police officers are taught to shoot in 2 or 3 round bursts. So the officer shot this dog 3 times, and the dog ran around the corner and died. But he put a stop to the dog attacking him and all the bystanders around and the lady that's laying on the ground. And so he ended up having to put a tourniquet on this lady's arm because she was bleeding so bad. And as far as I know, that lady is still in the hospital from these 2 pit bulls that had basically eaten her up, basically. So kudos to that police officer for doing that, protecting the public, and knowing that when it's time to pull that pistol, when it's time to pull his firearm, what to do with it to control the situation and take the threat out of the situation. So he got to put the tourniquet on the lady and got the ambulances and stuff there to take care of the lady. And like I said, I think the lady's still in the hospital. I know as of last week she was still in the hospital, but he saved her life. So that and that's all we're after. We're after the police officers to do their work. Let them be police officers and do their job, and not have to worry about if I pull my gun out to shoot this dog because he's biting me and this lady on the ground, if I'm going to get in trouble for it. So, I don't know if it crossed that police officer's mind at that time, but he did what he had to do. He pulled that gun out, backed the crowd up, and took the threat out. So kudos to him. Is city council pass laws for animal control? Yes, it's up to the city council to pass all the laws in the city of Muncie. All the ordinances. When I say laws, ordinances, all the ordinances and stuff like that. That's on the city council to approve all that. It's also on the city council to approve all the budgets. So it's budget time, and we know when Mayor Dan ran for mayor, he said he would have the budgets in by July for them to have them gone over with so they can have them voted on by August, September, October.
Remind me, Audie, how many times has he had the budget to the council by July?
Never. Zero.
Oh, this is year 4 for him, right?
Do what?
This is year 4 for him?
This is, 20, 21, 22, 20. Yeah, it should be year 4 for him because his term will be up come January 1st.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
But that was one of his big concerns.
And Alpha makes an excellent point here, though.
Yeah, Alpha, you're right. What, July? Yeah, well, I had it to you by July 24. So. All right, folks, like I said, hit that like button down there. If you like the show we had tonight, come back Monday. I know Brandon's going to be on here. I think Brandon's going to be on here tomorrow night, right, Kate?
Right, unless Bilbrey gets back from his trip to the wall.
Okay, yeah.
So, hard to tell what that man's up to.
He has entered the 3rd dimension.
I'm surprised someone hasn't taken him out before now for his records request. So,
Taking him out to dinner or taking him out of life or
there's the question.
Yeah.
So we will see what's going on
tomorrow. I was going to take him out to dinner one night and he stood me up. So
Bilbrey does have a habit of doing that to us, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. I was going to take him fishing last weekend. After the show, I said, "Are you done yet? Or is your show over?" And we was going to go catfishing on the boat. And guess what? After the show was over, he wouldn't answer my calls. So
yeah, because he got sucked into some government corruption somewhere on the. I'm sure he heard some news. Some source contacted him. So
and that's the thing, Chris. He gets a source and they tell him something. He's Johnny on the spot on it usually, and will give up his personal life to do that stuff. And that's the reason we've kicked him off this broadcast for a while. We've done a hostile takeover, and made him leave. So, or did we? Or are we even here?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out tomorrow. You
be the judge of where we're at, or if we're even here. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, let the police be the police officers they're professionally trained to be. So if anybody's got any questions, feel free to call me. This has been, if you notice the duct tape on there, I had to take some duct tape out and change it a little bit. So we got that situated. So Barber Live. If anybody feels like they need to contact me, my phone number's out there everywhere. Like I said, I'm Audie Barber. I'm running for city council at large, city of Muncie. I'm looking for votes. I'm looking for money to help out with my campaign. And just look me up. Give me a holler, 765-744-0013. If you have breaking news that you think would be great for me or Bilbrey or anybody else, feel free to call me at any time. Let me know what's going on. And if it's something we need to look into, we will definitely look into it. We not afraid to piss people off. And I'm going to say this as a disclaimer live on the air. I am not suicidal. I am not suicidal by cop either. So if I have said something bad about Mr. Sloan, sorry, bud. You are an appointed official. You've got to take it. You can't take it out on me. So don't come beat my ass or try to beat my ass or shoot me or say I'm suicidal by cop, because I'm not. So I just want that to be out there in case something ever happens to me. So you got the hell of a job keeping. I don't know. I just wished I could see everybody's comments over here. So hopefully we've had a good show. Hopefully everybody's been entertained tonight. I don't know what else, Kate.
We'll work on getting you to be able to see the comments for next time.
Yes, definitely.
We'll see what he's got to say. So,
and if we have to, we'll have to have me come in a different way or whatever.
Probably should go down to the basement and make sure that he's at least fed.
Right. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Mom, go feed Chris.
Yeah.
He's in the basement. Would you shut his internet off? Has Chris been a bad boy?
I know nothing.
Chris has been a bad boy and Mommy shut his internet off. He's not allowed to broadcast from the basement right now. She's punishing me.
Alva said next time you need to make sure you got Darla sitting next to you on her phone.
Darla, come here. Yeah, Darla's a hell of a wonderful lady for putting up with me for 13 years. So.
Well, we will all be back tomorrow, so we will see you all then.
Yes, definitely. Darla ain't going to come in here because she knows I'm going to put her on. Come on in here a minute. They want to see your pretty face.
Oh, no.
Oh, no?
No.
What do you mean, oh, no?
I'm in my pajamas.
Oh, she's in her pajamas, guys. There ain't much there, so.
Oh.
I'm going to go to the other room, so.
Yeah.
Have a good night, folks. Like us. Tell your friends about us, and we'll be back tomorrow night at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. We'll see you later, everybody.
Bye.